Good afternoon, Giant fans, and welcome to another episode of New York Giants football talk. A little different football talk. No, it's not because it's Halloween week, but it's because we got a win last week. Celebration time for Giants fans, even if it's the only one we got this year, about time. So, Kenny K here, and I'm always here with my co-host and Mr. Paul Rosen. And how are you doing this afternoon, Paul? This beautiful Sunday afternoon, I should say.
I am doing well. Thank you, Kenny. It's great to be back with you guys for another episode of New York Giants football talk, especially after a big win last week against the Commanders.
Yeah, and you know what? We had the legacy uniforms last week, and we're going to get into the recap in a minute. But I just felt like on defense, not offense, but on defense, I felt some of the old Giants were the spirits were there. The
Mhm.
defense, the 80s, some of the 86 Giants, some of the 1990 Giants. But it was great to see the Giants get a victory against a division rival. Much needed, much needed for Giant fans. We to not have a therapy session for once is great. A
Yep.
celebration session. It was more like it. So, some superstitions of ours. We wearing the same shirts. We got the same logo up there. You know, I changed the background. I should have kept the same background, but can't do it all. So we got the Halloween background today. But I'm ready to get right into the show, Paul, and start with that little recap of last week. So why don't you take it away and give us a little what your thoughts were, some of the good things you saw from last week.
Well, like we said, Giants finally won another game, but a week ago today, we sat here with you guys and talked about the game, and we mentioned many of the keys to the game. And sure enough, what Kenny and I said, most of it, if not all of it, came true. We said get Saquon the ball, check. We said put pressure on Sam Howell, check. 6 sacks. It was reminiscent of the Michael Strahan LT eras as the Giant legacy uniforms were being worn. We said Jalen Hyatt could come up with some big plays. Check. The defense with Dexter Lawrence and Leonard Williams and Kayvon Thibodeau. Check. So everything that we said on the pregame show for you guys all came true. We had a big win, tight game, which we also expected. But you know what? The defense held up, as Kenny indicated, and it was a big win for the Giants and the Giants fans.
Absolutely, and uh, I'll get Kurt's comment in a minute. Always want to thank Kurt for helping us with the graphics and the pictures. And our
Yes,
first
sir.
picture there is Saquon running, but I get chills when I see those uniforms, like the helmet, like they're just so sharp. I wish we'd go
Hmm.
back to them full time.
Hmm.
It's just a really nice, sharp looking uniform. The colors of the United States, actually, the red, white, and blue combo there, and always
The real America's team.
yes, and agree. It's just a sharp looking uniform. Always loved that uniform, and hopefully we'll go back to it someday. And but like you said, Paul, saw some good things from Saquon Barkley running the ball. You know, offense. I want to see a little more. Darren Waller got involved. But the big thing for me on the offensive line protected Tyrod Taylor. Our mix and match every week. I mean, these guys were on practice squads, and these guys were sitting on couches a couple weeks ago. Justin Pugh and Tyree Phillips practice squad, and hats off to them. And those were my offensive MVPs last week for the
Hmm.
protection they gave Tyrod and protection they had on run block. And uh,
Especially against the very good defensive line of the Commanders.
above average offensive line, probably a top five, in Chase Young, Montez Sweat, just to name two of them. Uh, Jonathan Allen, a couple more guys over there. Uh, Defense, I couldn't say enough. I was telling you just before we went on the air, I felt like some of the 86 and 90 Giants spirits went into these players. I saw a little, Kayvon Thibodeau, 9 pressures,
Hmm.
course, he missed that sure
Oh
which
God.
would which made the game a little closer. Started getting a little nervous at the end.
Hmm.
A pick six that a 5-year-old could have caught, but he dropped that. But anyway, I can't get on him. 9 pressures. He's starting to show signs of, first round pick, and liking what I'm seeing from him. And what can I say about the defensive line? Dexter Lawrence showed up. Leonard Williams showed up. The secondary, DeAndre Banks, a huge interception. We've been talking about him all year. Lockdown corner. We're going to get into previews later. Hopefully he has another good game today, but he's been locked down. And, all around defense, A plus, I give them the last 2 weeks, got to give them a solid A. So looking forward to more of that today. And hopefully we can get another victory today. So let me catch up on the comments. Mark saying sorry, can't get on. Something's wrong. Mark, I'll figure that out with you, and we'll schedule for another time. Hopefully you can hang out with us in the comments. Eddie Murphy, that's why he's a linebacker, not a tight end. Absolutely. And Kurt giving us a little update. And again, thanks, Kurt, for the graphics as
Thank you,
always.
Kurt.
What's up, boys?
Hey.
Snow in Denver. Mahomes with the flu.
Wow.
No bull crap. Running the ball straight down their throats today. Good luck, G-Men. Well, good luck to your Broncos too, Kurt.
Yes, sir.
I am
Good
pulling
luck.
for them. You know me. I want Russell Wilson to do well, and want the Broncos to do well. We're both in the same boat. And Kurt, if you're listening, Paul, I kind of threw you under the bus and without asking you with the Denver Bronco Roundup guys. And now this goes for Kurt too. We're both in the same boat. Kurt, if you're listening, we're both 2-5. So before the games start today, by the end of the season, so this is a long season left, whoever has the best record, so if the Broncos have a better record than the Giants at the end of the year, Paul and I will wear Bronco colors on our Giants show. But if the Giants have a better record, the Denver Bronco Roundups are down, they're going to have to wear Giants colors. And Kurt, on your Broncos show, you're going to have to wear Giants colors.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
I figured Paul would be in.
I'm
Kurt,
in.
I hope you're in. There's Sis saying not one person on here has a clue. I know, Sis, you're the clue master. So we love you, Sis.
We miss you, Sis.
Any other things with the recap last week, Paul? You want to get into today?
Yeah, let's go right into it.
All right. So we're going to get into today, and the first topic we have for the audience and everybody is third week without Daniel Jones. Okay, it looks like the timetable for him could be week 10 against the Cowboys for him to come back. But the question I have for Paul, Sis, everybody in the audience, Kurt, when Daniel Jones is back and ready to play, should it be Tyrod Taylor or should it be Daniel Jones, Paul? Well, I'll go first real quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
If Tyrod continues to play well, Daniel Jones is the starting quarterback. He's the guy you paid. He's the guy who should not lose his job to an injury. Daniel Jones comes back, but Daniel Jones is on a leash, a short leash. And meaning struggle, Tyrod Taylor's coming in and taking over. That's my thoughts on it. And Daniel Jones's job, but he loses that job if he doesn't perform well when he comes back. What are your thoughts, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, the Giants have sort of boxed themselves into a situation where they obviously paid him the big contract. I agree. Quarterback, especially if he's your designated starter, shouldn't lose his job because of an injury. Brian Dable has come out 7 times in one press conference. He said he's our starter. So we're going to have to see if he's healthy. They're going to put him back in there. But I do tend to agree with you. The fact that if he doesn't play well, the Giants know they have a reliable second string quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. And what we've seen over the last few years, the Jake from State Farm and Mike Glennon, the backup quarterback play for the Giants have been putrid, horrible. So at least they know they have a quarterback that they can rely on if, in fact, Jones either gets injured again or, in fact, is not doing well, and they can possibly have to pull him and put in Taylor.
There's a good friend and fellow Giant fan, Eddie Murphy. Paul, you might be able to help us with this. If the Giants do have a better record than the Broncos, Kurt has to wear a Daniel Jones jersey. Do you have one, Paul? Or are you still?
I don't have a Daniel Jones jersey, but
You can let him an
certainly,
Eli or another Giants jersey because you're not
right,
too far
right,
from Kurt now. And
right.
what I'll
I can,
do, and what I'll
yeah.
do is when I come up for Thanksgiving week, I will grab a jersey that Kurt doesn't wear just in case those Broncos have a better record than the Giants. I'll have one saved here for me, and we'll let Kurt do the same thing with you. So, but we're
Yeah.
counting on the Giants having a better record than the Broncos, and if they have the same record, we'll both respectfully wear the other colors if they both have the
That's
same record.
sounds like a good plan.
We'll have fun with that. Give us something to cheer for this year. With both teams not doing well, so give us something to you know look forward to and going into the last week of the year if we're both having bad records. So, but yeah, Paul, I agree with you. It's Jones's job to lose. I don't believe in injury losing jobs, and Dable seems to not believe in that, and that's the right thing. But like I said, now Tyrod Taylor. If Giants go out and win the next two games and then Daniel Jones comes back and Daniel Jones is struggling, then you got to think about maybe putting Tyrod Taylor in at least for that game. And then if
Hmm.
Tyrod continues to do better than Jones, then maybe you make that switch then. But right now it's got to be Daniel Jones comes back when he's ready to come back. But with a neck injury, you don't force this guy. And there's Eddie saying you don't bring DJ back until Thomas is back
Yeah,
blocking his blind side.
this is true.
So that's a good point there, Ed. Uh,
Yeah,
I you know, uh, we're going to see going forward because neck injuries are very scary and very tricky. We say hamstring injuries are, but neck injuries. This is his second time having a neck injury. You don't want to
exactly.
rush this guy back, and like Eddie's saying, without his star, all pro left tackle blocking his blind side. Do you want a practice squad player blocking his blind side with a neck that's not 100%?
Yeah, I mean,
You got to
say what
think.
you will. I was going to say what you will about Daniel Jones, good, bad, or indifferent. You certainly don't want your quarterback or any player in the NFL having a neck injury and laying on the ground. And we've seen too many of these recently where an injured player possibly can't move his extremities. So, serious, serious injury.
Uh, Eddie Murphy saying he got hurt getting hit in the back. Yeah, that we were just saying. And Mark saying put him on the IR until he is healthy. That's an option.
Yeah,
That's another option. You want to see if he's ready to come back for the Cowboy game. If not, you maybe think about that. Is right.
sure.
Especially seeing how the season's going. Uh, he's your future quarterback. You want to protect him for sure.
Yeah, this is a long-term situation, or in theory, a long-term situation with
Yeah,
him as your quarterback.
absolutely. Uh, Anything else on Tyrod versus Daniel debate there? Because we know we're going
Nope.
to get some Giant fans in these chats. I'm glad we got some real Giant fans because I'm sure Eddie and Mark, I'm sure you follow the media. I'm sure you follow the Giant Facebook pages. And there's just some fraud fans out there, and they just don't know football. They think that
Yeah.
the whole problem is Daniel Jones. Our problem's been the offensive line the whole year.
Hmm.
I can't evaluate Daniel Jones off of bad offensive line play. I
Yeah.
can evaluate Daniel Jones if we have good offensive line play, but I can't do it against bad offensive line play. I'm sorry, I
Yeah.
just can't do
Yeah.
it. So
I call those Giant fans, or so-called Giant fans, basement GMs and basement coaches who they think they know more than the GM and the coaches of the professional football team, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But I don't even want to get into that at this point.
no, there's Mark. Mark, don't be sorry about not coming on today. We got you in the chat. we'll figure something out. I'll get you, figure out what your difficulties are over there while you can't get on. We'll work on something. Uh, Here's a question from Eddie. Does Dable not remember week 1 against Dallas D-line? You send them back week 10, that's like a suicide.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, listen, that's a very valid point. I mean, he even had Daniel Jones in almost until the very end of that first Dallas game, and some people questioned whether he should have been taken out with that big lead that the Cowboys had. Uh, you know what? Everybody in the NFL are adults, and if they feel he's healthy, whether it's against the Cowboys, whether against the Washington, Philadelphia, you know what? I don't think because it's the Cowboys and you respect them, you don't play him against the Cowboys versus the Eagles or the Commanders. It's the NFL. If he's healthy, if he's ready, you're going to make that decision and play him regardless of who you're playing. That, in my opinion.
And you know what? The Cowboys that had everything go right for them that a team can have go right in week 1, and we had everything go wrong that can go wrong in week 1. I haven't seen the Cowboys be near what the Cowboys were in week 1 for the last few weeks. So week 10, I think we're going to have a more competitive game than week 1. I don't know if we're going to beat the Cowboys, but I could see us being more competitive the way we've been playing lately, and getting some guys back, and we're going to get into that. It's a perfect segue into our next topic. We're getting some key players back little by little, and 2 of them, Paul, that are coming back: Adoree Jackson on defense,
Hmm.
and one of our offensive linemen, John Michael Schmitz, our center, our rookie second-round pick, is back after injuring himself a few weeks ago, I should say, on that fluke tush push play that drives that rugby play that drives me crazy. So
Hmm.
he's back today. So that's good news. We're getting players back little by little. I expect to see decent offensive line play today. But what are your thoughts on these 2 guys coming back, Paul? And 2 players that are out are Thomas and Neal, our left and right tackles. So
Yeah.
still got those out. But these 2 guys coming back, I think, will help.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the key to the offensive line, you hope, is that middle. So you're having that rookie, John Michael Schmitz, come back in to anchor the offensive line. Probably they'll have Pugh on the left tackle and Tyree Phillips at right tackle again. Adoree Jackson, hey, always having that veteran presence back there. You had mentioned earlier, Deontay Banks has been unbelievable as a rookie. So to have Adoree Jackson manning that second cornerback position, it's great to have him back there, and hopefully, slowly we'll get some of these injured Giants back.
Couple of comments and question. Eddie Murphy about your closet giant GMs. That's a good point. And all these closet giant GMs, Taylor also has had Barkley past 2 weeks while DJ didn't have him for
Hmm.
3 weeks. So that helps.
Yeah.
Uh, Eddie's also expecting Jackson and maybe Leo to get traded.
Mm.
Season is this, Kurt. Season is so early, still so early with 7 playoff spots. Everybody still can make it. I heard today, Curtis, stat like teams that are 2-6 are pretty much out of it, but 3-5, I think in the last like 5 years, 18 teams made the playoffs in the last 5 years at 3-5.
That's
So,
crazy.
and this is one of them years, like Kurt said, there's nobody really running away with it. There's
No.
a lot of teams at that 3-4 mark.
Hmm.
2-5, 4-3. So, question from Kurt, Paul. What deal would you have to move Barkley for? A second question mark? A first question mark? Neither. Me personally, I'll go real quick, Paul. It's got to be a very intriguing first. This guy's your most valuable player, and I can't move him. He's on a franchise tag this year. You can get him again next year on probably the
Hmm.
same thing if you need to. Uh, I'm keeping Barkley unless it's like blows me out of the water for like a top 10, top 15 pick. but
Yeah.
that's not going to happen. I'm going to
Right.
keep Barkley, Kurt. Now, last week I was thinking about moving him for the right price, but I got to keep him. He's my most valuable player.
Yeah. I mean, I agree, Kenny. I don't think they're trading him. I think Brian Dable or Joe Shane have come out and said they're not trading him. But that being said, if just to use an example, the Chicago Bears came to me and they would have right now two of the top three picks and said, "We'll give you one of those picks for uh, Saquon." Would I have to really, really think about it? Probably, absolutely. I mean, for the sake of the franchise as opposed to a specific player. But that all being said, Barkley has wanted to remain here. He's a leader. He's well respected by the coaches and especially the players. So I would continue to keep him for the rest of this year.
See, now Mark says trade him, and I'll tell you why I respectfully disagree, Mark. If we had somebody like, I'll use Kurt's Broncos as an example. They got this 5'7" running back, Jaleel McLaughlin,
Mm,
rookie, undrafted. Kid came out of nowhere. He is performing well over there, and he's been probably, arguably, their top rookie this year. Uh, I would trade him. I would think about trading Barkley for the right price. But we got Matt Breida. Brightwell's hurt. Gray is hurt.
mm,
There's no depth there at running back. So if we lose Barkley, I mean, you trade Barkley, it's gotta be blow me out the door
yeah.
for him type of moves. That's
I,
my opinion on it, Mark, and that's why I disagree. Last week I was thinking about moving him, but we just got no depth at running back. Nobody to take over for Barkley if we lose Barkley. You got to go out and look for somebody in the draft, or you got to look for somebody in the free agent market next year if you trade Barkley. And Eddie's saying keep him because his replacement isn't on the roster.
exactly.
Mark saying don't trade. Sorry. That's what he meant by
Oh,
that. Okay. Sorry. I
oh, oh,
misunderstood that.
okay.
Gotcha, Mark. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep him, but I know this is off topic, but Eddie said Adoree Jackson. I think if we lose today, I think Adoree and Leonard Williams could be the two guys I would look to try and get some draft compensation for. Leonard Williams is on an expiring contract, and so is
That's right.
Adoree Jackson. I don't want to lose Adoree Jackson, but if we lose today, I think you got to think about trading one or two guys if you can. Key up some cap space and key up, get some draft picks for next year.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. All right, Paul. Before I do my next topic, I'm going to throw a little. Got a couple people out there, Eddie, Mark, a couple others. Let's throw a little trivia question out there if you guys want to. For those who don't know, we have a sponsor, Willow Seasonings and Blends. They are award-winning sauces and seasonings and rubs for all your barbecue stuff. They got the sweet heat there that I'm a big fan of. Chicken on ribs, pork. They got some sauces, barbecue sauces. Sweet Thang is a original barbecue sauce. They got a North Carolina-based barbecue sauce, a Memphis-style rub. You guys like cooking? Willow Seasonings has generously donated one of their products to one of our listeners. Going to throw a little trivia question out there. I'm going to keep it very simple. You give me the answer, you guys will get to pick one of their great products from their website, and that'll get shipped to you free of cost. Quick question for you guys. Trivia question is talking about spice. We're facing the Jets today. Which former New York Giant end zone celebration was the salsa merengue dance, spicing it up? Give me your answer in the comments. First one will get their choice of product there. And we'll wait. See, there's Eddie Murphy saying Victor Cruz. So Eddie, I'll get your info and I'll send that over to Willow Blends and Seasonings. You can go on their website, pick one of their products. You let me know which one you want. I will tell you the Sweet Heat is an award-winning Blue Ribbon spice. I recommend that one. I recommend the high elevation domination. That's a salt, pepper, garlic blend, and any of the other ones you want, just try sauces, whatever. So, Mark, Eddie just beat you out. We'll get you next time. uh, Eddie's saying, "Who's Wachter?" Mark was trying to type in fast, but yeah, we'll get that out to you, Ed. Thanks for you know,
Congratulations, Ed.
congratulations, and we'll get that out to you. Uh, all right, Paul, we got a couple more. Next one's a little fun one. So there's Daniel Jones at a press conference in a suit. We did a little topic on Wednesday, Paul, and I'll let you explain what the topic was, and then we'll have the audience guess if they weren't listening on Wednesday, and then let them play along as well.
So the phenomenon that is Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce has blown up the NFL and pop culture world. So we had a little fun segment we did on Wednesday. If you could pick a player on your team, what celebrity would you choose that player to date? And hopefully that celebrity would help your player that you chose in your team win. So we did a little segment on Wednesday, and we're going to do sort of part two or part 1A of it today. So go ahead, Kenny.
Okay, real quick, I did miss a comment from Eddie. I don't want to get this lost in the comments. This is really nice, Paul. I didn't notice. I don't know if you guys seen, but the 3 to 4 weeks Justin Pugh has been here, he takes the linemen and quarterbacks out to a different steakhouse every Thursday. That's
Yeah.
leadership.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought that was phenomenal. He's been doing that actually his whole career, first with the Giants and then with the Cardinals. So that's a leader. So I agree, Ed.
I got to see that, Eddie, about the Facebook picture. So if you guys want, I'll give you guys about 10 to 15 seconds to guess who I would pick. Or you know what? Tell me who you guys would pair up with Daniel Jones. Celebrity, could be musician, could be, a personality. Who do you think would be perfect for Jones? It's Katy Perry, because if you see Mr. Personality there in his press conferences, you never see this guy smile in his press conferences. So I think this girl, went too far. This girl would get him to smile. Yeah, you know what? Kind of like the Demi Moore, Ashton Kutcher relationship, I guess. She's a little older than Daniel. But Daniel Jones would be singing when they talk to him, "I kissed the girl and I liked it." So, and he'd have a smile on his face at the press conferences. So we need him to pair up with Katy Perry, in my opinion, and that would be my choice. If you guys want to throw your choices out there, but Paul's guy is Dexter Lawrence, so we'll let Paul take it over for Dex.
Thanks, Kenny. So I thought of who better to represent the Giants meeting a celebrity and dating a celebrity, but big, sexy Dexter Lawrence, big man in the middle. And if you guys want to guess who I selected, if you don't know, but you want to throw that picture up, Kenny?
Yeah. Eddie tagged us in that picture of Kelce and Swift. Thanks, Ed.
My selection was the bootylicious Kim Kardashian. She's been around athletes and celebrities her whole life. Her godfather is O.J. Simpson, married a athlete, of course, and she loves the spotlight. What bigger spotlight than New York, New York? So my celebrity would be Kim Kardashian. Would be the perfect celebrity to date sexy Dexter Lawrence.
And just imagine Eddie say doing sexy Dexy dance in the bedroom. I just said teaching her the sexy Dexy dance in public would be funny, doing a sack dance.
Right. Exactly.
Eddie, it's PG-13. Save that for when we do our future Let's Talk About shows, our uncensored show. Save that
Friday at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, save this for our future late night shows. Mark
That's
saying
funny.
too many headaches. She dated Reggie Bush, Miles Austin, and Chris Humphries. Yes, she
There you
did. I
go.
remember that.
Right. There you
It's funny
go.
because we grew up coaching Miles Austin in Little League baseball, Paul.
Oh, did you really? I
Yeah,
knew he's from Jersey,
yeah. And he's
Monmouth,
he's
right?
actually his sister's really good friends with Kurt's sister.
No kidding. Wow.
Yeah,
Did not
yeah.
know that.
Went to our town. Yep. So yeah, it was a little fun little thing to get the Giant fans laughing there. So uh, if you're ready, Paul, I'm ready to talk about today's game and the history of the Giants Jets first.
Yeah. Let's do it. The bragging rights. New
All right,
York, New York.
that's it. So real quick before we get into today's game, Mark coached them in football. That's right, he did. Mark was a Pee Wee level coach at the Junior Boilermakers, and he coached them down there. I do remember that. That's awesome, Mark. I didn't. I forgot you coached over there. That's right. Uh, was he a receiver, Mark, for you guys, or I don't remember him being a wide receiver. And then even in college, I think he played tight end, if I'm not mistaken, at Monmouth University. But got a picture there in the beautiful New York skyline, Freedom Tower, and the Hudson River there. Mark saying yes. Okay. Want to get little memories, our favorite memories of past Giant Jet games, and I think one that stands out for you and I both, Paul, is I'll let you go because mine's the same as yours, but I'll let you talk about it, and then I'll just add a couple things if I
Okay.
add my two
Um,
cents in.
well, we go back December 24th, 2011, Giants, Jets. Jets were actually the home team. Giants were the visiting team. But just to sort of set the scene, the as you know, the Jets coach at the time was Rex Ryan, and Rex came in all boisterous, and I'm not kissing anybody's rings. And he came in to New York, and hey, they did have success the first couple of years. They got to championship games with the Jets, but of course, the Giants had won the Super Bowl 2008, the year before he came in and started coaching the Jets. And now it's 2011, and the Giants are playing the Jets in a big Christmas Eve game. And needless to say, it was a must win for both teams. And the Giants certainly needed the win. And at that point, I'll turn it over to you, Kenny.
That's when Eli Manning had the ball at the 1 yard line, and we needed a big play. And we talked about the spicy end zone dance. Mr. Victor Cruz catches ball from Eli on the sideline, perfectly thrown ball, and Victor Cruz goes for 99 yards and the touchdown. And needless to say, that led us to the victory and much better things in the playoffs. So that is also my biggest New York Giants Jets memory. And Mr. Rex Ryan, you know, he didn't know what to say. He tried to be like his dad, Buddy Ryan, when facing the Giants and getting in the Giants' heads by putting black curtains over the Giants' Super Bowl banners. Well, how'd that work out for you, Rex? Got
Mm-hmm.
you fired over in New York Jets shortly after that. And you became an ESPN anchor and you haven't gotten a job since. So hats off to you. You're taking after your dad, and there you are. Kurt can have them all he wants. He thinks he's got headaches now.
Right.
He thinks he's got headaches now. I'll have to get him some prescribed headache medicine if they get they get Rex Ryan as their D coordinator. Mark said that was the turning point of that game. Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing I remember about that game, toward the end of the game, Ahmad Bradshaw, the Giants were close to the Jets goal line, and Ahmad Bradshaw just ran over a Jets defensive back on his way into the end zone for a touchdown to basically seal the game. So, yeah, that was obviously a tremendous win for the Giants over the Jets.
Mark get a kick out of this one. I was watching that game with my dad, and my dad was big Giant fan. We have many memories with both of our dads, Mark's dad and my dad. My dad was very humble. He watched the game. He didn't yell. He didn't cheer loud. He always just rooted for them, and that was it. And I did the same when I watched with my dad. I never got super excited. When that happened, I actually jumped up and did the Victor Cruz dance. And my dad looked at me like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I was like, "We just got a 99-yard touchdown. I got to do something." So he
It's
ended up laughing, and we had a good time the rest of the game. But I
it's
remember that.
It's funny you said that because we had invited my parents for Christmas Eve, and we were eating, I guess, around the middle of the time when the Giants had that big play. And I also jumped up and I was yelling and screaming, and my parents were looking at me as if, what am I doing? It's crazy. And but just the fact that he was able to go 99 yards, especially against the Jets, made it even more meaningful.
Absolutely. So, yeah, it was a little memory. Now let's get into today's. I'm ready to talk about today, Paul. You ready to talk about today?
Absolutely. Let's do
Save
it.
the best for last. So we're back at it. Okay, we're 2-5. You know, this game I had circled at the beginning of the year. Aaron Rodgers, we're under the radar. We're falling. We're the all the headlines are Aaron Rodgers this, Aaron Rodgers that. The Jets are on Hard Knocks. The Giants are the other team nobody's talking about. And then Aaron Rodgers gets hurt, and the Jets are still the team. All in the headlines, 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 headlines. We're struggling. The Jets are struggling. We're 2-5. The Jets are 3-3. They had their bye week last week. Giants coming off of two big defensive outings. Could have won. Could be 2-0 in our last two, but we're 1-1. And we got the preview today. We're a home team, technically the home team. So I'm looking forward to a competitive game. I'm looking forward to the same type of defensive scheme that we've seen the last 2 weeks, and go from there. So, Paul, I'm going to go to you first for some of your offensive keys to the game.
Yeah.
Mark
In
was in
term.
church when that happened.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, it was Christmas Eve. I
Maybe
understand.
he was praying to the football guy.
Right. That's why Victor went 99 yards. Um, you know, it's going to be a defensive battle. Jets have been very good all year on defense. Giants' last two games have started to gel defensively. From a Giants standpoint, offensively, they're going to have to protect the offensive line is going to have to come together and give the Giants an opportunity to run the ball. I think Saquon has got to get the ball a lot today, keep it on the ground. I think the defensive line for the Jets is exceptional, one of the best in the league. And in order to shorten the game, control the game, have the Giants run the ball and try and run it down. The Jets run defense has not been that good. So I think that's the key for the Giants today on offense.
Eddie Murphy, going to give him credit because he's saying get the run game, get Hyatt and Wandale Robinson involved, and get the run game involved as well. The Jets are 26th in the run game, and we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
Ed. The run game
Yeah.
has got to be the number one. Uh, if there's a weakness in the Jets defense, it's against the run.
Hmm.
And hey, we got a top 3 running back in the NFL. Why can't we run the ball down their throat? But what I'd like to see, Ed, I haven't seen it in Paul in a couple weeks. Hyatt and Wandale Robinson, maybe a sneaky jet sweep or an end around play. Get these guys maybe, running in motion and hand it off to them, and maybe they can have a sneaky play set up for them. I haven't seen that in a
Hmm.
couple weeks. And that was supposed to be Paris Campbell's role, right? You haven't seen Paris
Right.
Campbell much, right? So maybe they got to play like that set up for Wyatt or Wandale Robinson, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see them try that at least today, maybe once or twice, and hopefully it's successful. But you
Good
gotta
call.
get tricky. You gotta change things up against this Jets defense because it's tops in the NFL. It's a top defense. So
Yeah.
you got to get a
Sauce.
little sneaky, a little tricky, and come up with some creative plays. And that might be a way to get creative and catch them off guard.
Yeah.
Mark saying
Sauce.
stay out of 3rd and long and protect Taylor.
Yeah,
That's a good point,
Sauce.
Mark, with the offensive line. That was going to be one of my keys. I'm glad you said that. So I'll give you the credit for that. And I'm just going to add on the offensive line. You know, last week we did very well with some of the guys off practice squads, like we said at the beginning of the show, with the injuries, practice squads, and Justin Pugh coming off the couch. If we're going to be successful today, Tyree Phillips and Justin Pugh gotta do the same thing. And you know what? We released Tyree Phillips at the beginning of the year. Accept your mistakes. It was a mistake. He's back now, and he did very well last week coming back. So we got him back. I don't think he's leaving this time. I think he's here to stay. So Evan Neal, watch out, because this guy may be coming for your job. Excuse me. But yeah, I mean, offensive line would be my top one, Paul. You got to protect Taylor. And,
Yes,
get
absolutely.
creative. And get creative with your playbook.
Yeah,
That's how you're
I
going to
like
beat
that.
that team on defense.
Hmm.
Eddie Murphy, please, for the love of football, catch the ball when returning kicks. I wonder who's going to be back there today. I don't, maybe it's Shepard. Maybe Shepard gets another chance, or Slayton. But somebody's gotta be back there. I don't want a Dory Jackson back there, but you may see him back there again. But when I'm telling these guys, fair catch. If I don't want to lose a starter,
Yeah,
I'd rather fair
yeah.
catch it instead of having a fluke play getting injured like last year with Dory Jackson.
Hmm.
You know, you know.
Yeah,
For all
agree.
joking aside, I love a Dory Jackson. I love Sterling Shepard and I love Darius Slayton, but they're not that explosive player that you say, like when we had Dave Meggett, oh, we can return a kick at any time. Fair catch it and start your offense there. That's
Yeah,
what I would tell them on special teams, because it could get ugly, like you said, Ed. They try and run before they catch the ball, and you're turning it over to the Jets. Uh, Eddie Murphy said they signed a kick returner this past week.
yeah. Gunner. I don't even
Yeah,
know
I
how to
haven't heard
pronounce
of
his
him. That's a
last
good point.
name.
From
He was with.
Pittsburgh, Marks
Yeah, he was with the
confirming.
Steelers. Yeah.
All right, who would be? Well, you know what? Let's switch off to the defense, and then we're going to talk about our MVPs. Who we think is the most important players of this game. So let's switch it back to you, Paul, for defense.
Uh, I think again with the low scoring type of game, I think the defense has got to stop the Jets running attack. Brees Hall, I'll throw in Dalvin Cook. They've got to stop those guys. I don't expect Zach Wilson to be throwing the ball all over the place today. I'd be shocked if the Jets allowed him to do that. So the middle of the Giants defense, Dexter Lawrence certainly, and we'll get into my MVP I think in this game in a couple of seconds. But that's to me the key for the Giants defense to stop the Jets running attack.
Yeah, I'm right there with you with stopping their running attack. But like I said, no turnovers for the. I don't want to see any turnovers for the Giants on offense, but we need to create turnovers on defense. Last week we got that. We should have had a pick six,
Mm.
with Thibodeau, but Deontay Banks had an interception. They were creating plays on defense for the offense to be successful, and we need that today because this Jets defense, like I said, is top defense. So create some turnovers that Zach Wilson is capable of doing. You're not facing the Aaron Rodgers. You're not facing Pat Mahomes. You're facing Zach Wilson. Last week it was Sam Howell. This week it's Zach Wilson. I'm expecting similar things today from that Giants defense against another weak offensive line.
Hmm.
One of the Jets' rookie offensive linemen who's been having a good year, their guard. Can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he is
Joe
out
Joe
today. That's
Joe
a big
Tipman.
loss. Yes,
Joe Tipman is
big
out.
loss for them. So we got to take advantage of that in the middle. Dex and Leo, take care of that, and get to Zach Wilson and
Hmm.
plug the hole. Mark wants to go off topic for a second. Hey guys, sorry to go off topic. What happened with Carl Banks? Those two guys are messed up. I'll get to that in a second.
Oh yeah.
I did see that. Uh, Real quick on defense, that's what I do. And let's get our MVPs, Paul, and then we'll do
Hmm.
Mark's topic to end the show.
Okay. My offensive MVP for the Giants, I said it earlier, Saquon, get him the ball, get him as many touches, both in receiving and running as possible. My defensive, I mentioned about stopping the Jets' run. There would be Bobby Okereke, who's been phenomenal, a tackling machine. He's been everything the last few games that the Giants expected. So he's going to have to be in the middle, plugging those holes. And I'll even throw in 1A uh, Micah McFadden, who's been
It's,
also doing amazing.
Eddie beat you to it by about 2 seconds. He said McFadden defensive MVP.
All right. Good
Same,
job, Ed.
good people. Great minds think alike. Who was your offensive one, Paul? I forgot.
Saquon.
Saquon. Yeah, Saquon's the obvious choice. If I had to go with somebody else, I'll pull a Kurt because Kurt never gives you one name. I'm going to say the Giants' offensive line as a whole needs to be the MVP again today.
Sounds good.
On defense, I'm going to go in the middle. Maybe Kim Kardashian will be watching, but Dexter Lawrence needs to step up today like he did last week and be the defensive MVP. And my backup 1A, Deontay Banks. He'll be on Garrett Wilson. And he was saying, Garrett Wilson got the best of him freshman year. Ohio State beat them 72-14.
Yeah,
But
I
it was
saw that.
Deontay Banks' freshman year. And the next 3 years, we know how Deontay Banks did at Ohio State. So he learned from that, and he is ready for the challenge today, he said, against Garrett Wilson. Barkley and Waller and D-line and corners for Mark. And anything else, Paul, with the predict? Let's get Mark's topic, and then we're going to do our prediction.
Okay, sounds
we'll do
good.
Mark's real quick. For those who don't know, I'm in Maryland, but I did see it, Mark. WFAN, New York Sports Talk Radio. They have Carl Banks on each week. And these two guys, Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata, morning hosts. I never had a problem with them personally, but when they started their show, I see what their show is about. They're trying to be like a Mike and the Mad Dog spinoff, where they argue with their fans, they hang up on their fans. Nobody's ever right except these two guys. And I think the best thing was Tiki Barber getting off that show. And don't dislike Brandon Tierney and Sal Licata, but what they did, Carl Banks, was totally disrespectful, know-it-alls, Yeah. Carl Banks sticking up for Kayvon Thibodeau, saying, and if anybody knows Carl Banks, saying how this kid's in his second year. He was hurt 7 games last year. 9 pressures last week. Build off that. He's having a good year. And these guys are just so anti-Kayvon Thibodeau that they got into a heated argument about it. Ended up hanging up on Carl Banks. Who are you to hang up on Carl Banks?
Right.
So the fans got on him, and I'm happy about that. And I hope they lose ratings for it because – as our good friend of our show, for those who know, Alan Hahn, who's on ESPN Radio at the same time, he calls them the other station in New York. Alan Hahn's on ESPN. He's on a bunch of shows. He's a good friend of our show. He's come on with us in the past. He's a great guy. And those are shows that I like to support. So none of these know-it-alls and yell at everybody. You're entitled to your opinion. And respect people's opinions. Your thoughts, Paul, real quick, and then we'll get our final thoughts.
Very fast. You said it very well, Kenny. The only thing I'm going to say is, who do I believe? A 2-time Super Bowl champion and a member of the Giants Ring of Honor for his career as a professional football player, or 2 talking heads? Enough said.
Yeah, Mark saying 2 Jets fans, horrible. They are bums. They never played football.
Exactly.
That's it. They don't even deserve our time on here. Like I said, I'll support Bart and Hahn and, people that, take the time to come out for us, a small podcast. He's national known guy, Alan Hahn, and he took the time to spend an hour with us on a past show. And he said he would come on with us again. And those are people I like to support, any day of the week, any sport that they want to talk about, I will support them over these guys, not because they bashed Carl Banks, but because the way they did it, and the way
Yeah.
they talk to their audience,
Hmm.
that's the part I don't like. But we're getting close to game time, Paul. I think it's time to get our prediction and final thoughts.
Okay.
I'm going to go quick because I'm going to give you the
Go ahead.
final tonight
No
today.
problem.
I think we're going to see, everybody's expecting a defensive game. I think I am as well. I think everybody, almost everybody, and I love it. I've been waiting for this all year. Giants are under the radar. That's been my favorite 3 words from day one when they signed Aaron Rodgers. Under the radar. Now it's time to show them you're still the number one team in New York. Your home team today. You're gonna have the fans behind you. Giants in a defensive battle. I think we make one more big turnover than the Jets do today. And we're going to win the game 19-17, very close to Mark's prediction of 21-17. Graham Gano going to be the difference. 3 for 3 in field goals, and then a touchdown again to Mr. Jalen Hyatt. Those are my
Your
scores.
great prediction. Similar feelings. The defenses will dominate. I think it's going to be a fairly low-scoring game, probably a boring game to many fans out there. Unfortunately, you have a great Jets defense. The Giant defense is starting to gel the last few weeks. Um, I also agree it's going to be low-scoring. My prediction on a last-minute field goal by Mr. Graham Gano, Giants 16, Jets 13.
Awesome. And Eddie's just saying he hopes it's not 3 and out all game. Last week
Mhm.
was 18 punts in the Giants game.
Yeah.
Paul, I'm going to give you the final word. I just want to thank everybody for joining us today. Mark, we'll get you on future show. Sorry for the technical difficulties today on your end. We'll get that fixed. Kurt, again, thank you for all your graphics.
Thank you. Thank you, Kurt.
Eddie Murphy, thanks for hanging out with us all day. I will get
Hmm.
get in touch with you. We'll figure out what product you want, and we'll get that shipped out for you. Thanks for playing along, and congratulations on that. And Go Giants is mine. And Paul, final word for you, my friend.
Yeah, go Giants. They won last week. A win today gives them two in a row. Next week they have the Raiders. So you know what? They can possibly start building a little winning streak. And let's see what happens today.
Go Giants. Good luck, everybody.
Thank you so much for tuning in today.
Have a good night. Good day. I'm so used to saying night. Have a good day.